Good to go?
Yes.
All right. Andy, we're going to go 30 seconds then, man. Jeff Slauson here from 19 News Now at the 19 News Digital Desk. It is a first alert weather day. Pretty difficult conditions as you are heading out on the roads. As I was heading into work today, I absolutely noticed it. Taking your time, being careful is absolutely needed. Before we get to my colleague Andy Chillian here, want to pull up the ODOT camera that has, let me see if this is, it's 71 at 303. Look at those conditions. No joke. And this is something, Andy, that you have been talking about quite a bit over the last few hours here. It can vary, right? I mean, depending on where you are, it can get very serious very fast.
Yeah, and that's really the deal, Jeff. I think that's why these are so dangerous, because you maybe drive it along, you think it's fine, then all of a sudden you just encounter a wall of snow where the roads are a lot worse, and that's why this can be so hazardous, and that's the purpose of these snow squall warnings. Again, you were showing that ODOT camera, so that was 71 at 303 in Medina County, 303 Center Road that goes through Brunswick, and that's been an area where there's been some persistent snow so far, potentially a few inches already, and we're still seeing the snow fall in that spot. So I want to show our viewers right now what's going on. We take a look at First Alert Doppler. If you were joining us late at 11 a.m. or on our news at noon, you saw some snow squall warnings that were issued. Those are generally pushing out of our immediate Northeast Ohio 19 News coverage area, but they still are in effect across parts of Mahoning and Trumbull counties until 1:15, and then a far northern portion of Columbiana, also into parts of Pennsylvania. So travel, if you're going eastward on the Turnpike into Pennsylvania, that is going to be hazardous through Youngstown right now. That is where these snow squall warnings are in effect. And a reminder to our viewers too, what's a snow squall warning? This is relatively new, at least within the past few years. The National Weather Service started issuing these, and it's really just a travel warning. I mean, when you get under one of these, you're going to encounter potentially near zero visibility, real heavy snow, real gusty winds. Travel is almost next to impossible under one of these, and so you do not want to be traveling under a snow squall. They can be very dangerous, and it's important to treat them seriously as you would any other warning, like for example a severe thunderstorm warning that can be outlined in these types of polygons. But where we don't have any warnings in effect, I don't want to diminish the impacts further to the west here. We have Akron seeing some heavy snow right now, as you can see on our First Alert Doppler. So basically right through the heart of Akron, center portions of middle portions of Summit County right now. There's Medina County, and you can see again that interchange 71, 271. I feel like that's been a hot spot recently. Remember the snow that we saw before Christmas? We saw some pretty heavy snow across parts of Medina County, and so here we go again with some of the heavy snow there. It's all coming from this band off the lake. It's these lake effect bands right now, and so that is where everything is very scattered. It may be fine in one spot and not fine just a few miles away, and that's why these impacts can be more significant, because you may head out thinking it's fine at your house, but you go a few miles down the road to a friend's house, to the grocery store or whatever, and that's where things can be hazardous. So that's why we're tracking this for you. Parts of Lorain County right now, Elyria, pockets of heavy snow there, over to LaGrange, even western portions of Cuyahoga County towards Westlake, Bay Village may be getting in on some of these impacts right now, so travel on 90 westbound to the west side and over to Lorain County could be hazardous. You just kind of get the idea that we just have these pockets of heavier snow. And I want to take you down to the south, not as bad as you get further south of Akron towards Canton, Dover, Millersburg. You can see a couple of snow showers there. A lot of this has been focused more towards the lake shore, but nonetheless, this is what lake effect snow is. It's really taken on that classic lake effect shape, and here really set up as we zoom out and show you. You know, all the lakes are pretty much in action right now. Michigan over to Huron area. I mean, all of them really, as you can see, doing what they do this time of year. That lake effect snow is certainly impacting us. So now I want to talk about what's ahead for the rest of the day and even tomorrow. We have 19 first alert weather days for the rest of the day today and then tomorrow as well. So I would say here within the next hour or two, we've got these bands of heavier snow, and even some squalls may still set up. Could we see additional snow squall warnings? That's certainly not out of the question. Even if it's not a snow squall warning, though, if you do see some heavier snow, just treat it as that. Gusty winds, near zero visibility. It's very hazardous travel, and we've been seeing 1 to 2, maybe up to 3 inch per hour rates in these, so quick accumulations in a short period of time. Now, late this afternoon into the evening, it's basically the same story, but once we get overnight, that's when I'd say the coverage and intensity may not be quite as high. Some of the main impacts by that time may end up just being in the snow belt, but still on the west side of Cleveland, for example, even to the south. I don't want to diminish any impacts if we do get bursts of snow here and there. It's important to just watch your travel. Tomorrow, I would say the coverage during the day, especially once we get into the afternoon, is not going to be as high as what we're seeing right now. Again, mainly in the snow belt. That's where the snow is going to last the longest and be heaviest the longest, as we can expect. But just where you're traveling everywhere. I mean, this snow has been so heavy. Even some of the major interstates have been snow covered, as you saw on that ODOT camera. In fact, I'm going to pull that up again, as you can see here. Again, 71 at 303, so in Medina County. I mean, this is the interstate that you're looking at, and you can see that even the interstate is snow covered right now. So that's why things can be hazardous, because the snow has overwhelmed the roads before the plows have been able to get out, and we've had enough travel on there. So looking at the winter weather alerts that are in effect, there's different alerts, there's varying end times. I know sometimes this could get confusing. The bottom line is, I would say all of Northeast Ohio, even if you're not under an alert, needs to be aware. Now, where these advisories and warnings are, a warning is obviously the absolute highest impact. So Cuyahoga, especially the east side, even in the southern parts of Cuyahoga, even over to Summit, Portage, Geauga, Lake and Ashtabula counties, but even over to Lorain. You know, we've seen some snow there. You're under the winter weather advisory. Medina, Stark, that is where we can see some impacts as well. So I want to show you the first alert future view right now. You can see, first of all, one thing's for sure, temperatures, no problems with this sticking. We went below freezing the other day. We will stay below freezing for what it's looking like now, at least the next couple of weeks. So, you know, I feel like this is typical for this time of year, but maybe not so typical as what we've seen in the past couple of years. Seems like it snowed even earlier this last year or this season. You know, it snowed a bit, then it kind of cleaned itself up a couple days later because it rained and we rose above freezing. This is going to be different. What sticks around now, it's going to be on the ground for quite a while. So keep that in mind. I feel like this is what a typical Northeast Ohio winter, or at least January, is like, and that's what we're going to see, because we'll stay in the 20s for the rest of the day, and with the wind, it's going to feel like it's in the teens. So here's a look at the coverage. We're taking you 4 or 5 o'clock. Watch the evening commute. You can see the coverage not quite as high as what we're seeing right now, but there still may be pockets of snow showers and snow squalls out there. Even as we head overnight tonight, and maybe you're headed out on a Friday evening, as you can see those bands of snow set up. Now, sometimes it can be challenging to determine exactly where they do. So just know if you're caught under a heavier band, if it starts snowing, it may snow for a little while before it's all said and done with. We're heading overnight now, 4, 5 a.m., 6, 7 in the morning tomorrow, and we still have some of those snow showers out there, even outside of the snow belt. So that's why I want to bring you caution there. Now, notice what happens when we get towards midday tomorrow into 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. You see, notice the coverage is dropping quite a bit. Yes, we may still have some snow showers out there, lake effect driven, that's what all this is, but the coverage gets a little bit lower, so travel may not be as bad. Plows will have time, crews will have time there to clear the roads, and as you can see here, still some of that opportunity for the activity in the snow belt Saturday afternoon and evening, even overnight. We say that oftentimes this lake effect can linger a bit longer than we would expect. But notice how cold it's going to get to, teens, as we head into Sunday morning. Again, not too out of the ordinary. This is not record type cold. It's just colder than what we've seen recently, that's for sure. A reminder, do I need to remind you, last weekend we were in the 60s, and now we're going to be so cold this weekend. It shows you what Ohio weather can do, right? So we're definitely out of that springy feel as we head through Sunday. Looks to be pretty quiet. May still see a few flurries lingering here and there. This lake effect takes a while to shut down, but this is going to be a break in between systems. And then already on our heels, we're going to have another system to track on Monday. Boy, is there a lot of uncertainty with that, even still a couple days away. I would say our southern counties, Stark down to Tuscarawas, even Wayne, Holmes, need to be aware of maybe some more impactful snow on Monday. But for right now, anyway, Jeff, the main impacts is this lake effect snow that we're seeing right now, and we'll see over the next couple of days.
Yeah, it is crazy to see you go through the progression that we're seeing and then finally get to Sunday. While it's not warm, there is less precipitation, which is nice.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's going to be the key. I mean, you know, snow on the ground is one thing, snow falling and accumulating is another. So, I mean, you get time out there. I know a lot of us are probably going to have to be shoveling that snow as several inches are accumulating. So I know it's not so fun, but it's easier, obviously, to do that when not more is on the way. So Sunday looks to at least be a break there. Just bundle up. As you can see, 1 p.m., we're going to be deep down into the 20s. Like I said, a far cry from last weekend. I hope we appreciated those warmer temperatures while we had them, because they are not going to be returning anytime soon.
Andy Chillian, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. We'll see you in a bit.
Sure thing.
And that is it for this part of our coverage here. We're going to have much more on the ever-evolving weather day that we were having and Newsday as well. Pulling back up the ODOT camera, that's 71, currently heading southeast. You can see conditions are variable, but they're doing all right. So just take it slow. You'll be okay. Obviously, it can be a difficult thing, but yeah, just taking your time is very important here. All right, we're going to have much more on these stories of the day coming up. 19 News, 3 o'clock over on CBS. 3.5 hours of nonstop news starts in about 2 hours. We will see you all there.
19